has been posted. We are officially live and your video has shrunk for some reason. But anyways, I am so happy that you all are here. And thank you so much for joining me, Emily and Alyssa from LifeCYCLE Studio.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yay. Well, I'm glad it's live finally.
I know, me too.
That was fun.
It took us long enough, right? Totally my end. Total newbie over here learning how to utilize the computer. But we're online.
It's okay. It's a learning process.
You
Everything.
all are just so encouraging. All the time. So, before we begin, I think that we obviously wish all of our streamers and our viewers, we hope that this stream finds them well.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So you probably don't know about this. So
No.
Peter and I, have you been planning that?
I have been. I've been planning for way too long that I'm willing to admit. Yes.
So Peter and I have this like running joke going on Instagram that it drives us. We have like little pet peeves about emails, and it drives us crazy. People that say like, "I hope this email finds you well," or like during COVID, they would be like, "Stay safe," or just like
I say both of those all the time.
like canned things. And so him and I will constantly like send each other memes that's like, hope this email finds you well. Or
It
like,
never finds anybody well. I've never met anybody during the
No.
pandemic that message has helped pull them through whatever they were going through.
Right.
I got this one message and he hoped I was well and it made my day better.
And he told me to stay safe, so I did.
Oh, I'm so happy for you all. I mean, that's great. That's wonderful. It did not work out for me. Not one bit. But I'm so happy that this message does find everyone well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to get to know more about you and learn more about your philosophy. Like, I was obviously on your website, and I've been following you all since you've opened your shop. You call it a shop or a studio?
Studio.
Studio. Since you've opened your studio. I think that you got some really good points. Inspiration, and you challenge others, and you empower them. And, I mean, you helped me through getting this thing going live. Tell me more about that. I'd love to know more about your philosophies.
You can do it, Peter. You got this. You got this.
Well, so yeah, it's actually funny you said that because we our like tagline was challenged, inspired, empowered.
Yeah.
And we kind of came up with that when we started building our business plan. And it was more just about like, finding the workouts that we provide challenging, but also inspiring. And then empowering people to, take that inspiration and that just feeling of like a good accomplished workout, you're proud of yourself, and taking that out into the world with you in order to empower you to do things that are good for you outside of the studio, not just like in your workout. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of where we came up with that like tagline. And it's funny because we're getting ready to launch some new merch in the studio, and we're actually going to bring back that tagline because we haven't used it in a long time. So it's funny you brought that up because we're actually getting ready to launch some stuff here soon with that on there again.
Oh, when you launch your merch, you let me know. I'm like a big fan. I followed your store. You've got some merch. I got some merch. We'll have to trade some shirts. I got my own merch now too.
Yeah. We'll have to make you one because we, we do have guys that come in.
Yes.
But we are about a 90-10 split. It's mostly female that comes in. But we do have some guys that come in. And so we don't carry a ton of men's stuff, but we are getting ready to make do some men's shirts here soon. So we'll make sure we get you.
You let me know, and I'll swing by and pick it up. I'm vaxxed. I'm fully vaccinated. So
yes. So are we.
My vaccination powers turn on in a week and a half, I think. Like the full vaccination powers come on in about a week and a half.
The 2 week.
Yeah. But right now, like I've had the Fauci. I I've had my second Fauci ouchie.
Yeah, Fauci ouchie. Yeah, the memes about the vaccinations are so funny. Like you're vaxxed and ready to act like it, and some other ones that maybe aren't appropriate.
Yes.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going with that, and that's okay wherever you want to go with it. But I think it's just so cool, like the success, cheering for each other, and the really cool thing is you're so authentic, right?
Oh,
you're authentic.
Yeah, we try to be.
Well, you don't try to be, like you live it. You own it. You see a lot of people in the business community, maybe not so much Frederick, because I don't want to pick on Frederick, but I think the overall business community, they do it, I don't really know why they do it. They just do it for a job. But like, I think you both live the culture that you instill over there at LifeCYCLE, which I think is just so darn cool. And you built up like this equality and like a culture of inclusion. Like, hey, come out, ride a couple bikes, take a couple classes with us. We don't care what your output is. We don't care what your fitness level is. We're here for you. We'll get you through it, and we're going to have a good time doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's actually what we were based off of. So I don't know if you've heard Emily and I's story, our love story.
Tell me more. I'm here.
But LifeCYCLE was created from a not so fun situation from Emily's perspective, but it kind of inspired LifeCYCLE. And so a couple years ago, like how long ago was that?
It's probably been like 4 years now.
Four years or something. I had been taking some cycling classes at another studio, and Emily was like, I'm really interested. You seem like you're having a lot of fun. I kind of want to come take it with you. Obviously, she was a little nervous. I'm like, come do it with me. So I took her to her class. I made her sit in the front row, and the instructor was not so, I guess, equal, if you know what I'm saying. And so like there was not that many people in the class, but like for someone who I was
a brand new rider.
Yeah, Emily was a brand new rider. I was someone that was coming there all the time, and she was yelling at us, push more. If I can do this, you guys can do this. Like just having you crank on the resistance, just really catering to those veteran riders. And at like halfway through, not even halfway through the workout, I look over at Emily and we're like arm lengths away from each other.
Because this was before 6 feet.
Yeah, this is before 6 feet.
I kind of remember what that time was like.
And masks and all. Yeah, right? And she looked at me and she's like, this is not for me. She like mouthed the words. And she just looked so defeated and crushed. And I just wanted to like cry inside looking at her. And so she couldn't unclip from the bike because she didn't know how.
Yeah.
And so she was stuck the rest of the class.
That's normally how people keep their customers.
Yeah. I've had people take their shoes off and just leave, but we'll go there another time.
Only one.
Only one person. She might have been a little hungover, but whatever.
No judgment. And
so we were in the locker room, and I was like, look, that was a really bad idea to have you come to this specific instructor's class. Shame on me. I should have known better. I need you to give it 2 more times. Just give it 3 times, and we'll see what happens. And there were some other people. The new girl that just had a baby that comes to the studio now again. Mm-hmm. She was in do you remember her being in the locker room too? And she was like trying to encourage her and stuff. And so I set Emily up with to take a class with one of the instructors that actually works with us now, but I specifically had her take a class with this one instructor, Carrie, because she's very genuine and caring, and I knew that she would take care of Emily, and she hasn't looked back since then. And so what LifeCYCLE was built on is the fact that like we want people to come in there at all different fitness levels, whether you're a crazy psycho like me or a newbie like Emily was, and not ever feel defeated. And so the way that we created our fitness program and the way that we coach is specific, that it caters to everybody coming in there. So you always start off at like your own home flat road, and you adjust based on whatever your fitness levels are and how you're feeling at that moment in time, because a new person is going to feel a little bit more exhausted than someone who's been coming all the time. So that's kind of like how our story started with LifeCYCLE, and it was like one of the first workouts really that we started to really get into. Mm-hmm. And she fell in love with it, and then we were like, well, we need to provide what we experienced to Frederick, and that's where we are today.
Yeah. And I mean, as far as like being authentic and stuff like that, I think that it's really because, Alyssa and I live and breathe that studio, and, her and I both came from worlds where we were both in corporate stuff. She worked for the government. I was in corporate. And so, we've seen different parts of different, things, and there's no reason to not just live an authentic life. You know what I mean? And be who you are, not apologize for it. And, one of the things that I've learned so much in the past, even before LifeCYCLE, is that I really think that if people were more honest about who they are and more honest around no matter who they're around, I think the world would realize that we have a lot more in common than we don't.
Yeah.
But and that just starts with just being your authentic self, not apologizing for the way that you are, and knowing that, if someone doesn't like you because of how you are, then that's not a big deal. Fine. You know what I mean? And so
Right.
that's just kind of how we run things,
That's how we try to encourage all of our writers when they come in and take a class with us. It's a little bit of a lot of self-help stuff gets pushed into our classes as well. It's not all about the workout, but it's truly building those strong, empowered people so that they're coming in and they feel like they're getting something more than just a workout from us. And most of our writers come in there and say, I've never worked out for anything more than just wanting to lose weight. They actually come in just to work out for the mental release, just being around the community of people, socializing. They come in to do, because that's all we can really socialize these days. So yeah.
That is so cool. And it just shows every ounce of work that you put in over there. Because I follow very closely on social media. And do you do the Instagram too, Alyssa, or is that mainly
all her?
Oh, I do that.
All
yeah.
her.
It's just so authentic. So
She's so good, right?
Yeah.
No, it really is. It's right on point with your brand, right?
Oh yeah.
You answered all of my questions.
It's my pride and joy. And Alyssa, as things happen and we kind of start to grow here and there, because when we first opened, Alyssa and I were at the front desk 24/7,
all the time.
We didn't have any front desk.
Let me tell you, I
value
value that entrepreneurship. Just what do they call it? Grinding?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
And it sucked in the beginning. I mean, it was a double-edged sword. It was great because we got to know so many people.
Mm-hmm.
It was great because we got to know exactly what we needed to do so we could teach others to do it. But it was exhausting. And so
in addition to teaching too, and managing employees.
And so one of the best things that came out of COVID and us closing was, okay, now you're forced to close your doors. What are you going to change when you reopen them?
Yeah.
And the first thing we said that we're changing is we're hiring front desk staff because we cannot do it all at the pace we were going.
Yeah.
And so over the course of the last year and a half or so, we've had conversations of, okay, what are some things we can offload and have either somebody else do, or how can we make this more time efficient on ourselves? And one of the biggest things that I'm going to have a problem with is giving up the social media, because it is one thing that
you're getting rid of it.
So close to my
I'm not going to be talking to Emily.
Having somebody else manage it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think I'm ever going to be able to give it up, because it's something that it's just like my baby, and I don't know that I can. And so, yeah.
I'm confident.
She's getting
here's something that I think is going to be really cool. So I think that you're both you've established such a strong culture over there that you're only going to attract like-minded individuals.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're probably going to have another person with a similar mentality that will post, "Hi, I hope this ride finds you well."
Maybe. I'm just kidding.
Maybe. But that's the challenge, is because so much of, a lot of people say it in our classes too, they can just see the passion come off of us when we're teaching, and when we just talk about LifeCYCLE, they can just hear it in our voices, and that portrays through social media too.
Oh yeah.
And so it's going to be a challenge.
Let's be real. Somebody else could end up doing it and probably do even better. Because honestly, with social media, the biggest thing with social media is the fact that I read something recently where and I was like, that is so on point. You and I are talking right now as friends, right? And so social media is just an extension of that. And you just have to make sure that when you're on social, you're talking to that group of people like they are your friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you show up for them just like you would show up for your friends, and you support them just like you would support your in-person friends. And so our social media, is strong, but that's because I show up for it every single day because I live it every single day. But anybody can turn their social media into that, as far as that goes. It probably is a reason why it is what it is, because I do it and it's ingrained in me, and that's how it shows up.
Yeah, no, I love how the story's told.
But yeah, and I mean, we do get a lot of our new riders come from social media, and then that sign that's behind the studio that faces.
Yeah.
You mean that little sign on Route 15 that gets you business?
Oh my gosh, yes.
So many people.
It's like $35.
Yeah.
Best $35 investment.
For the promise stuff, but that's it. It's like the best advertisement ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess everyone's stuck in traffic. Right there on 15.
Exactly, right there.
And it backs up right about there. And it's funny because there's a new hair salon that just moved in, down the shopping center, and they came and introduced themselves one day, and she said something about because they were looking to blah blah, and I was like, honestly, the best money we've ever spent is putting that sign out. And so they went. I gave her the name of our guy, and she went and got one too. So now she's got hers on. It's the best money you ever spent.
So great.
That's hilarious.
I mean, now I think that arm man out there.
Have you seen? Speaking of memes, have you seen that the arm man? Like, you should totally do it. And then you could post your meme out there, being like, I go to the parking lots, I don't wear any clothes, and I dance naked. But not you two, but that's what the arm person does. You know what I mean? Like the flailing arms is a meme.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know why I have to describe a meme to everyone.
That would be so funny to that.
Yeah.
Like, you get the memes.
So anyways,
so what's your favorite memory when you started the studio? What's your favorite memory?
How sore and how much we killed ourselves.
Our favorite memory?
Oh,
I don't want to talk about how sore, because I took a class by Natalie and I'm still recovering. That was a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been this
She's a firecracker.
Maybe not my favorite memory, but one of my biggest, like, whenever I think back about us opening the studio, was for tax reasons. We had to get into the studio by the end of the year, right?
Well, of course, yeah.
And
do it for the taxes, for the government.
The company, the company that did our build out delivered it to us on like the 29th of December or something.
Like New Year's Eve.
Oh no, it was December 26th. It was the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
And we had to get in, and it was just a vanilla box. You know what I mean? Like, it was just walls
drywall,
and a floor and a concrete slab. And so we literally worked around the clock.
As in her. Me and my dad.
Yeah, and one of our friends worked around the clock to get the studio ready. And Alyssa's dad and I laid all the floors in that place so that we could save like $4,000 or actually more like $10,000 to have somebody do it.
Yeah.
We decided to do it ourselves. So we laid all that flooring.
Ask us if we'll do it again.
Would you do it again?
And Alyssa laid the gym flooring, which you've never dealt with gym flooring. It's like 500 pounds.
So heavy.
A piece. Like, it is so heavy. And after the first night of us laying that floor, I went home. I took a bath, got out of the bath, and I laid in bed, and I had ice packs on both of my knees.
From just kneeling on the floor.
From kneeling down and like doing the flooring, because we did like the whatever.
The floating flooring.
It was horrible.
Oh my God, yeah.
But at that moment, I was like, when we open a second location or a subsequent location, I am paying someone to do this. I am not doing this again. That is like the one thing that I was like, I am never doing this again.
I think my most significant memory was when we opened the doors and we opened up registrations for class and people started signing up.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, is anyone going to sign up? Like, how do we even, because we didn't do really any marketing. It was all social media. We didn't pay for anything. And then I get a text message from a member. She's like, oh my God, people are signing up. People like us. People are coming to our studio. Oh like, God, what are we going to do?
People are paying us.
People are paying money to
What's
come
happening?
Like, are we ready?
What do we do now?
Like, I don't know. Like 5 minutes before our first class, we're like throwing stuff in the closet, like construction tools and stuff. Sweeping up the drywall.
We're like, don't open that door.
As it's like going into the business next to you, like the insurance company.
Yeah, basically, actually.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious. So you got in there for tax reasons.
Within a week.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
now,
Yeah.
We were in there.
2018. That means
Yeah,
that
we were
your
in.
business is 3 years old.
No,
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 no.
no, no.
Well,
No, it was 20 what are we in 20
19,
20 no, we're in 20. It was 2020.
2020.
Yeah, so we had our founding members come in on January 10th, 2020, but we had to get our occupancy done by January 1st,
That's
Yeah.
which we got
that's
done.
right.
Yeah.
Well, because I remember. Hey, look, you got a friend.
Who was
I
that?
know
Who
him.
is that? I know.
I know him. Um,
He's like, I recognize that voice.
um, I remember. Well, see,
So
I
yeah, we
don't
made it.
remember like
So
all the
January
like the
10th.
timelines because it's been about a year and a half of not seeing anybody and like doing these types of conversations.
Oh yeah.
But I was there for your ribbon cutting, and it was just so cool to
Yeah.
see. But I can't believe that was 2020.
Yeah, that was February
That was
2020.
right
We
before.
were open for 2 months,
Oh, I
and then we had to
remember.
shut our doors
And
for
then you
COVID.
quickly evolved, and you were delivering bikes.
Yeah. I know. We were just talking about that today. We had our bike mechanic come, and he's like, "These bikes are beat up. Do you move them around a lot?" We're like,
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
Don't. We don't do it. We
Nope,
don't. No, we
nope,
don't know
nope,
what you're
nope.
talking about, and our
That's
Instagram
what's
handle
true.
is not LifeCYCLE Studio.
Here, now I'm back in the pickup truck.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
Yeah.
if you could just put this back together, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. Just screw that a little tighter, okay?
No, and the way that you evolved, and then you.
No, but yeah, we had to.
Well, but I think the really cool thing is I remember talking with Emily. I don't know if Emily remembers this, but I was talking with Emily during the grand opening, and you were talking about your technology that you invested. Like you had an app made, which I think is so forward thinking. I'm not really. I got to get over there and like take a spin class, and I'm gonna go. We got to do something, right? Like once it's safe to do everything and all that fun stuff. But I don't think many people in the spin space, like in the spin business space, was even thinking about an app. They were just having you in person and yelling at you to push harder. I'm
Yes.
serious. Like
Yeah.
that was very
Well,
forward thinking.
and all of our performance tracking is connected to the app now, and our VODs are now connected to
What's
the app.
VOD?
Yeah.
So our video on demand.
Well, and that's the other neat thing that it like opened the door for. I thought that was so cool. And
Yeah.
you were just able to roll into the pandemic and the shelter in place. I know it wasn't easy, but I think that you were able to adapt so much better, and you just did it with so much like grace. It was like, all right, everyone, we're gonna have a giveaway.
Glad you thought so.
Glad from the outside it seems that
Oh
way.
no, I know how it is when you're an entrepreneur and you're a business owner. Like you are, like you don't want the world to see how much of an undercurrent it is. Like your little head's just right above water, and then the rest of you is just like flailing to stay above. But the way that you handle that, you're like, COVID. We hope everyone's safe, but we're gonna go ahead and deliver some bikes. Let's do a raffle. I thought that was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
we did
forgot
that
about
for
that.
Dawn in. Yeah.
Yeah.
how
for
could
Dawn.
you forget? Well, I guess I would forget about that too. It was the amount of work that you put in was probably tons of work, and it was probably painful.
Like, oh, we give away 2 bikes.
Yeah, we gave away
Maybe
2
2
bikes. Yeah.
That should go over in like
Amy.
Adamstown or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, after that initial shock wore off, because that initial shock, I remember we were sitting in the studio and we were watching the live conference or whatever. And Hogan said something about gyms, and I'm like, oh, and then it was over. I'm like, oh, well, good. I'm glad he didn't say gyms.
She
Well, this is
completely like shut her ears.
This is like they said gyms. I'm like, no, they
They
didn't.
said Jim
Like,
a
no, we
thousand
shut
I
our
times.
doors,
literally didn't
Emily.
hear it. I think my mind was just like, nope, not gonna hear that word. Bye.
It was like Anchorman.
I'm pretty sure we have to cancel all the classes.
But yeah, I mean, like the app, yes, it's awesome. It's with the app, you can book your classes. You can pick your bike you want when you come in, so that if you want front row, you get front row. If you don't want, you don't have to get it. That was another huge thing. If you've ever taken a spin class, or people that have taken a spin class before know that they like a certain bike, and they will
You're very protective of those bikes.
cut someone to get their bike.
Really?
And so, oh yeah, and so it's great because as soon as the class opens for registration, you can go in, register the class, and pick your bike. So you've got your bike.
Yeah.
So So that was one of the benefits of having the app. And then they can purchase class packs. They can do all kinds of, they can do all kinds of stuff. But then also, because our classes are all tracked, the performance is tracked, they can also go in there and see their past performance. So they can see how they've progressed, their progress over however long they want to look at it. They can see how many miles they've gone, all that sort of stuff. And so it's costly to do it. That's why a lot of places don't do it. But it is one thing that really sets us apart from other cycling studios. And it's something that people really like. And so I think it helps with lowering like attrition, because people are more engaged. They can see some sort of like progress that they're doing better and better, and it helps with fall off. And so
brand recognition, you want them to go to your space instead of a third party.
Because if they didn't have that, they would just go to the Mind Body app and book their classes. You know what I mean? But with this, like Alyssa said, it gives us more brand recognition. They can open their phone and see the LifeCYCLE on their app instead of just going to Mind Body. And then we were just easily able to integrate the video on demand into that.
Which is something that we had to launch pre. And then the biggest challenge, honestly, other than like the bike rentals, was just getting the technology set up for the virtual streaming in the studio. Because it was really hard for us, because we knew that this wasn't going to go away. And there's such a dynamic in studio with like the low lighting and the sound system, that with a camera, visually it was okay when no one was in the studio, because we could have these big LED lights blaring on the instructor and you still have that ambiance in there. But as soon as we started to break, and we were just using a computer at that point with LED lights all around it, just shining at the instructor, and the picture was great enough. All we had to do was figure out how we just had to figure out how to sync the sound system so that it sounded like, you would pull something up from YouTube instead of playing through the speakers on the computer. So that was a little challenge. But then the bigger challenge was when we were going to open back up, we had to figure out, okay, virtual is not going to go away. People still aren't comfortable. We still have some bikes rented out. So how are we going to mimic that virtual experience and in-studio experience without taking away that intimacy of being in studio? Because you can't have these blaring lights all over the room, because it's just going to take away from people coming in studio. So that was actually a bigger challenge. One of our bigger challenges was figuring out the right camera, which essentially ended up just being a GoPro. Who knew?
Go figure. Go figure. That's what I'm using right here for my webcam.
$6,000 on an expensive camera, and all we needed was a GoPro.
Yeah.
And that's what we're still using.
And then you return it, and Best Buy charges you a restocking fee.
Yeah.
Don't ever do that.
Shenanigans.
Yeah. But again, Emily and I, we did all of that audio-visual stuff. We figured out on our own, because
Alyssa figured it out.
Well, we didn't have the money at that time. We were shut down to pay someone to actually do it for us. And Google is very friendly.
Yeah.
And YouTube. We figured it out.
We Google things all the time.
Your channel is very impressive. You have like libraries of trainings on there.
Oh, wait till you see our actual video on demand library.
Yeah, we probably, I wonder how many we have. We probably have at least like 50 to 75 classes on there now.
So in addition to our virtual live stream, so all of our classes are streamed live. So you can join us from home for like the 50-minute classes whenever the normal classes are going on. And then we just started building our video on demand, which is much like, you have a Peloton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like that, where you can click and go and do any video that you want at any time. And so we have, the max is 30 minutes usually for this. So we have cycling and off the bike. And so a lot of people that do our VOD don't have bikes at home. And so they go on there for the strength classes. So we'll do like 30-minute like strength training classes, 30-minute HIIT classes, interval training. We'll do like 15-minute core, 15-minute upper body, 15-minute leg focus. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we'll do on there. So that's been really fun for us to kind of get creative and offer something like a little bit different. It's like $20 a month.
Yeah. Because as much as we are pulling out of the pandemic, there are people that still want to work out at home, whether they've bought a Peloton, they've bought a Schwinn for their house, they've bought something else, like they still do some of those things at home. However, probably in the past, I would say like 3 weeks, we've seen a huge uptick in new riders coming back in, and we've also seen an uptick of our existing virtual riders coming in back in studio.
Yeah.
So I think people are starting to get more comfortable with coming back in, which is cool. So
yeah, and it's been really helpful to have that virtual stuff because then you can leverage for other things. So we just created, so everyone's really good about coming into the studio and doing classes. They're really good about coming in for the workouts, but where people kind of struggle is outside of the gym. And so we created an accountability program for some of our members who want to join it. And it's essentially, we become their accountability buddy. And so we create a fitness plan for them, a nutrition plan for them, and like an accountability plan for them. And part of that is because so many of our classes are waitlisted, especially our strength classes, because there's a fewer amount of those and it's much more limited space for that we give them access to the video on demands that they can do from home. And so we are able to leverage that for like other areas that we're doing in the studio too. So it's nice to have that library of stuff that you can offer.
Oh, I agree. Now,
to everyone.
Is your Star Wars ride up?
No, because the only reason it's not is because I had Return of the Jedi playing in the background.
So there's a TV behind us.
And so there's a major glare on the screen. But I'll redo it. I think I'm gonna redo it.
Okay.
We only have 30-minute classes on video on demand, but her and I were talking and I was like, I don't know, I think it'd be really cool if every once in a while, because we have theme rides and that's the one thing that our riders have really gotten into and our instructors too have gotten into these theme rides, and I think people really like it.
Dressed up for them and everything. It's fun.
You saw Alyssa's guest.
Oh, I did.
Right? She wore a Princess Leia outfit.
We had riders coming in dressed up. I told Emily, she's like, "Are people gonna dress up?" Like, "Oh, you have no idea. People go to the movies dressed up for this stuff."
Alyssa bought me I'm not a Star Wars person. Alyssa bought me a Chewbacca mask.
Like talking Chewbacca mask.
I saw.
And I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody that day. I just had to.
And Kenneth has this bathrobe. That's a Wookiee bathrobe. So I made her wear this 300-degree bathrobe. And it was like the warmest day that we had so far in spring.
Like the hottest day of spring.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
It was like a 90-degree weather. Like, here, Emily, hold it.
You are so fun.
But it was fun.
So fun. So what's next? You mentioned the next location. Are you going to expansion in the next year or 2 or 3?
I don't know. Let's see if we get more bikes in our studio first.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to be out of the pandemic.
Yeah, we have to be way out of the pandemic right now because our classes are full and they're waitlisted, but we still only have 16 bikes in there.
I gotcha.
And so
we started with 28.
Yeah. So we're trying to get creative with other streams of revenue because that limits us, right? And so in addition to like the VODs, the virtual streaming, the accountability program is bringing us another revenue stream because we're now offering like a supplement plan for people based on weight loss or just performance enhancement, which has really helped out, and a merchandise.
Yeah.
And then we're going to eventually... I'm studying for it now. We're going to offer like small group personal training too.
I'm so happy for you all. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic.
So we want to be more than just a spin studio because that's what people need. I'm a true believer in cross training in that you can't just do the same thing over and over again, or you're not going to get the results, you're going to get injured. And so that's when we developed the fitness program, we really wanted to incorporate like that traditional strength training component, but have it focus on an area, you work on your powerhouse muscles, which is like the back of your legs, your butt, your glutes, your back. And that's going to help you increase your performance on the bike. And so everything is like synergistic kind of, but also parallel.
Yeah.
I have like no words. Like you are just so thorough in answering all the questions.
So we want.
I don't even know what to say.
So before we end this, we need a commitment from you.
Yes.
About when you're going to come in to take a class.
All right, we'll get that commitment. When?
Because you're such a cheerleader for LifeCYCLE.
Oh my gosh!
But you haven't even taken a class. You took a strength class with us.
I took a strength class.
You haven't even taken a cycling class yet?
No, not yet. No, not yet.
Do you ride outdoors, right?
No, I ride in the comfort of my own basement with no one watching.
He rides the Peloton.
But you came to the studio with a bike.
Oh, that is true. That is true.
And he rides a skateboard too.
I bike.
Which I think
bike
so
around
fun.
town. I skateboard around town. Yeah, let's do that. When?
I think you would really like Jorge's class. Are you a morning person?
Absolutely not.
Okay, no point.
let's see.
You tell us when you're comfortable.
Yeah. Because I really want you to come in for a class sometime. I think that as much as you like know about LifeCYCLE, I think you being in a class, you would be like, oh my gosh, this makes sense now.
What?
Like everything
Let's
about
do
it.
it. So
Yeah.
I believe it's a week and a half. So this
Mm-hmm.
Thursday will be 1 week, and then next Thursday, because you have to wait 2 weeks after the shot, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
I
when
think
it'll
so.
happen.
Yeah, they
So
say
let's
2
go
weeks.
ahead and put it on the calendar.
Alyssa teaches Thursdays.
I teach Thursday night, 5:30.
You girls are so good.
So we have 2 different class types
Yeah.
on the bike. We have your classic class, which is just 50 minutes of riding. And then the fusion class, you get a little bit of a break.
Okay.
So like 2 times you get a break in the class and you do.
He's like, sign me up.
Yeah. But it's not really
What
a
about-
break. You're still lifting weights.
What about the So, going back to, how you always evolve and you're providing additional services, I'm going to be taking a class on septic systems. It sounds definitely not exciting, right? On the 20th. Like, if I promise you I'm not making excuses.
No, yeah.
Yeah, guys, I got to take a
And
class
I
on
was-
septic systems.
Yeah, and I was halfway kidding.
No.
I was halfway
Oh, no,
kidding.
I'm
Let's just say
serious.
by the
Let's-
end of June.
No. Let's make it happen. So, either Thursday or Friday next week, because I'll be coming from Georgetown to take the septic inspection class. Haven't made it public. I guess it kind of just slipped right here. So it's long story short, I'm looking into putting together a septic inspection company to kind of like help add on an ancillary product for the real estate brokerage. Now, the real estate brokerage and the septic inspection company are 2 separate things. But there's no inspection companies in Frederick. I shouldn't say no. There's like 5, right?
Nice.
And whenever you have a real estate market that I wouldn't say it's red hot, like it's not firing on all cylinders, right? You've got a very strong seller's market, but your sales are down. So
Yeah, so you don't have anywhere to go once you sell your house.
Exactly, and it's a very unfair market for buyers. So a lot of buyers aren't having the opportunity to do any sort of inspection. A lot of them are waiving inspections, waiving appraisals, ABC, XYZ. But I saw an opportunity, like during the pandemic, like how you all evolved. I started the brokerage. We started a real estate education company. So we teach nationwide now. And then we did a little opportunity popped up the other month to learn more about septic systems, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
But I will be coming from Georgetown, and you probably need me to sign up ahead of time. Let's chat offline, but we'll make it happen on the 19th or 20th, and then you can take my picture in the studio, so that way there is proof with a timestamp,
proof,
date and
right?
timestamp. What did you say?
But in the meantime, you can join us from home
Yeah.
on your Peloton.
You are the best. So where do people sign up? Like, what promotions you got going on? Tell us all about that. We go to Life.
So we'll give you a promo code that you can use for a free class.
Yeah.
And you can download the LifeCYCLE Studio app.
Okay.
And then our whole schedule's on there, and then you'll see in studio or virtual. If you wanted to do like a scheduled time, if that fits with you, you can do a live stream. It's 50 minutes, or you can access our VODs from there. And we can give you is there like a 7-day trial or something?
Yeah,
No.
VOD has a
I'll sign up. I'll take care of it. But if you have a promotion going on, yes, announce it. But
Yeah, but if people want to sign up, all they have to do is download the LifeCYCLE Studio app, create a profile, sign up. It walks you all through it. There's an app. Just search for LifeCYCLE Studio. And then they can also go to the website, which is lifecyclestudio.com.
And that's all linked
So you can
below
access
in
the
the description.
Yeah,
Yep.
link that below. And then you can also tell your people that if they do want to take a free class, right now we have 1 week unlimited for $21. That'll be going through the end of May. But if they do want to do a first class for free, they can sign up for a drop-in class and then use the promo code Emily or Alyssa.
I was gonna say, we have a competition.
We have a competition. Use
Oh,
Emily.
do you have a competition?
EMILY.
It's like an in studio.
It's just
how many
between her
gives
and
it?
I, yeah. For a free class, you can use that. You can use the promo code Emily or Alyssa for a free class. It'll work. So.
Okay, and then what about your other fitness products? For your nutrition products? Any promotions on that coming up? Because I saw you just launched that line.
Nope.
Anything?
Well, we have the accountability groups.
we have
once a month.
we have accountability groups. So we have our next one coming up. Enrollment is starting now. We usually take about 10 people for each one of those groups, and that one starts June 7th.
Mm-hmm.
That is, so how that works is if you're interested in it, I set up a 1 hour call with you, and I do like a full assessment of where you are now, how your lifestyle is, and if there's any gaps that you might need help in. And then we create a plan specifically to you, and we include those supplements in there if there's a need for that. And so the supplements are like protein powder, there's pre-workouts, there's intra-workouts, there's a recovery stuff, there's like burners and stuff like that. So it's really based on whatever your individual need is.
Mm-hmm.
But we tailor them specific to each individual person.
Yeah. So there's a nutrition, fitness, and then the supplements kind of aspect to it. Kind of work together cohesively.
Wonderful. So, yeah. No, I think that's fantastic. And thanks for sharing.
Of course.
I think I covered all of my questions. Like, you were just so articulate. I just so appreciate you being on the call. Or on the stream. Excuse me. I got to evolve.
Yeah, thank you.
I really appreciate you being on the stream.
On the stream, because we're
streaming.
Yeah, we appreciate you. We appreciate you asking us, and you're always, like I said, one of our biggest cheerleaders, and just such a positive person, and just like happy, and just a great spirit about you, and we just appreciate you so much. So
that means a lot, and I appreciate you both. Let's.
I'm glad our crossed.
Yes.
I remember when you first rolled up on your skateboard. And I think Kenneth was there or somebody, and they're like, "Oh, it's Peter," and I'm like, "Who's Peter?"
Yeah.
And then you're like, "I'm Peter," and I'm like, "Hi, Peter." And then like somebody else walked in, and like, "Hey, Peter." I'm like,
"How does Peter?
Peter? I don't know Peter.
Who in the world is this guy?
I want to know Peter." Yeah.
You know, let's save the White Rabbit story for another day.
Yeah.
But they over there, they define customer service like I think you do, right? Like they are so
absolutely.
authentic. And the way that they take care of their customers and their I'm so stuck in real estate, so I call them clients. But you know, your customers and your guests over there in the restaurant world are just like you take care of all of your customers, guests, and clients over there at LifeCYCLE. So let's save that for another day. Maybe we can get them on the stream. Keep me posted if you know anyone else that you might want to throw on the old stream.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then I know that you all have it to call it too, so I really appreciate both of you being here and all that you do for the community. You do so much for Frederick. You really do. And you keep us all going. And
we want to do more. Once things open up more, we want to get more involved.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could get more involved, but you're right. Get more involved. Your reels really kept pulling me through the pandemic. They're fantastic. And then all your efforts over there on She Week over the chamber, that's another thing that we should talk about another day. Just, you really help pull, I think, a lot of the business community through. Just your positive vibes.
Thank you.
That means a lot to us.
Yeah. Well, you all keep up the great work, and I hope that your posts keep finding everyone well.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
You as well. Stay safe.
You too.
Now, before I end,